Welcome back, my dudes. I was playing paintball with my dog the other day, and I got to thinking about cover in D&D, and thinking about D&D is fun. But the thing about cover is that it is way underused, especially by new players, and I'll wager a few more experienced older players as well. If you've watched my Attack of Opportunity video, then you know that I like to see dynamic mobile fighting. And the cover mechanic can play a huge role in not just making that possible, but actually encouraging it. Now first, just a quick rundown on what cover in D&D is. Cover allows our characters and monsters to gain additional AC and in some cases avoid being attacked completely by ducking behind objects and obscuring some or all of their body. Cover comes in three flavors: half cover, 3/4 cover, and full cover. Half cover is just like it sounds. Approximately half of your body is obscured from the attacker. You gain +2 AC and advantage on dexterity-based saving throws. Next up is 3/4 cover, where you get +5 AC and advantage on dexterity-based saving throws. And finally, full cover, you're completely obscured from your attacker, and you can't be targeted at all. But do keep in mind that per rules as written, cover doesn't stack. You could make logical arguments against this, but for the sake of not boring the hell out of everybody at the table while you math out fractions in the middle of a combat, just pick the single best cover and go with it. And there's really no reason to overcomplicate cover. You can either see all of a target, some of a target, most of a target, or none of the target. Now, I've seen videos that they draw lines from corner to corner and try to figure out if something is covered and by how much. But this really seems convoluted, and honestly, it doesn't even hold up for most cover situations. So you as the DM just see the world through the eyes of the character attacking and then make a judgment call. Because slowing down combat just to doodle on the map and trying to figure out if something is covered or not is just not worth it. And when in doubt, just err on the side of more cover, both for players and for monsters. Because cover is a mechanic, one of the few in combat that actually makes combat more interesting, more tactical. And cover has huge advantages you can give yourself. If you're a fighter or a cleric with a super high AC, then just with half cover, you can really push a really high AC and become very difficult to hit. So then why aren't people using it more? I know at my tables, it's almost never used. So picture this, picture an ancient crypt. The players bust through the double doors and find themselves face to face with the evil necromancer and 4 skeletal archers. Before your players can start their murder hobo bullshit, you stop them and you read the description of the room. As the doors swing open violently, you see a large room with large wooden tables. Torches are on the left and right walls, but glow with a deep red. As you abruptly push through the doors slam against the walls with a crash, alerting Olgar, the dark wizard, of your presence. He yells at you with a scowl, "Prepare to join my undead army, losers. Skeledudes, attack!" The archers knock arrows and you roll initiative. Now, show of hands, how many DMs out there have players that first instinct would be to charge forward, close the gap, and take them on face to face? I'm just kidding. This is a recording. I recorded this days ago. It's not live. I can't see you. Anyways, I'm guessing that most of your players probably do the charge forward thing. I know mine definitely do. But if in real life, if your players, the actual player, was in that room, they bust through the doors and skeletal archers are about to light their asses up with a whole bunch of arrows, they would probably do it differently. They'd probably do one of two things. They'd either wuss out, nope out of the room, get behind the door and try and set up some sort of close combat flanking situation, which honestly isn't a terrible idea. Or they'd go full rockstar mode, charge into the room, knock over the tables, duck behind them for cover. You see, players tend to fall into a habit of looking at the map as a chessboard, because that's the perspective of the map. They're usually looking down at a flat surface. And they register the walls, the enemies, and their tokens, but they're not really there. They aren't really seeing the scene that their character's in through their character's eyes. All they see is a two-dimensional plane. And that just boils down to better roleplay. And players tend to forget about roleplay completely when they get stuck in a combat, which is understandable because there's a lot to think about. But when you see things through the player's eyes, they really start to get a sense of the room around them, and they can actually use that. And that is the stuff that makes D&D combat insanely fun. Knocking over the table and then diving behind it is badass. It's mobile and it's tactically smart. And now because the skeletons have to move forward in order to get at the players can simply ready in action. As soon as the skeletons get within 5 feet, the players are going to jump up and stab the skeletons right in their big dead faces. So to try and encourage this type of roleplay, this type of combat, lead by example. Have that necromancer toss a table himself, duck behind it. Have a couple of skeletons join him because there's room. Now your players are seeing in real time the enemy doing tactical things, being smart. And they're either going to do it themselves or they're going to at least remember for next time. And I think it's a great idea to have your monsters perform the tactical maneuvers your players are forgetting about, because it reminds your players that it's there, they can do that same thing. And when they start remembering that they can do that, well then it elevates the entire combat. So that's it for now, guys. Be sure to comment, like, subscribe, all that jazz. In the meantime, I'll see you guys next time.
This I give you now, trusting that you'll protect it with your very life.
I will. Hold this.